Well, very good morning, guys. Okay. Fine. So last day we just been created one empty project, one empty web application. And after creating an empty web application, what we have done is we have just been converted that application into an MVC application. Yeah, this is what we have done in the last class. We created one empty web application. After creating an empty web application, we have seen how to convert that empty web application into an MVC application. So what did we do? The first thing is, in the program class, we first added the service. What service? Controllers with views. So this service, when you add, your application becomes a MVC application. If I call a method called add controllers, it becomes a API. Add rather pages, it becomes a web app. Like this, we are just going to convert into the appropriate thing. And the second thing is, we are adding a middleware. What middleware? Use static files. So the use static files middleware will enable of using static files in your code. Static files means HTML, JS, CS, JS files, CSS files. ఎందుకు ఆపేస్తున్నావు అన్నీ కనపడుతుంది లైట్లు ఆన్ చేయి ఇక్కడ ఉంది రూమ్ అంతా. Okay, so use static files is a middleware for loading up the static files. Okay, and the next thing what we just have is map controller route. So what is the use of this map controller route? The map controller route is to define the routing pattern. It is basically to define the routing pattern. We are defining the routing pattern, and to define the routing pattern, we have just used it. Default controller name is home, action method name is index. You already know this. One. Okay, fine. The next thing what we done is we added a www root folder, we added a controllers folder, we added a models folder, we added a views folder, all the folders we added. Then we have added one controller called as home controller with a method index, and for that we added a view also. And one thing I said to you is, there and here, the parent class is controller only, but the difference is there the controller class is defined in system.web.mvc namespace, but when you come here, the class is defined in Microsoft.asp.net.core.mvc namespace. Here system.web.mvc. Here Microsoft.asp.net.core.mvc. Am I clear? Okay, so that's how you just that's what you have done till now. That is what you have done till now. Okay, fine. Now we are able to call the file what we have created. Yeah, we are able to call the file what we have created. Okay. Okay, so we are able to add a view now. So a view has been added up, and this is the code we have written, home controller something. Hit F5 will run. Okay, and remember, if you observe the URL in the browser address bar, the protocol will be HTTPS in ASP.NET. HTTPS. Next, in ASP.NET Core 6.0, the default web server Visual Studio uses to run the web apps is Kestrel, and the port used for HTTPS in Kestrel is 7038, and for HTTP is 5038. Yeah, guys, last day shown you this one. What file? Launch settings. Oh, sorry. I was listing wrong. That is also going to be dynamically associated. That is also going to be dynamically associated. Okay, web apps in Kestrel and the port used for HTTPS in Kestrel will be different, and for HTTP will be different. Kestrel uses a different port for both the two things. For HTTPS, a different port is used, and for HTTP also, a different port will be used. Okay. We can verify the ports. We can verify the ports used in which file? Launch settings.json file. Launch settings.json file. Launch settings.json file. This can be varying from one to the other. Launch settings.json file. Okay. You can even change the server by choosing the profile in debug target drop down list that is present in standard toolbar. You can change the profile now. If you don't want to change the profile, you already know that. You can use that and you can just go for changing the profile in this one. You want to run in Cora, you want to run in IIS. We did not host on IIS. Right now, still not hosted on IIS. If it is hosted on IIS, well, we did not host on IIS. It can be either IIS Express. See now, do you remember this SSL port is now showing you 44326? But last day it is shown 0 because we did not select HTTPS. It was showing 0, but now it is showing you 44346. And here also we have an SSL port and we have a normal port. Both the two are there. HTTPS is secured. Yeah? Secured. Your credit card transaction, banking, all will be done by using HTTPS only. Watch your browser address bar. You'll notice that. It is secured environment. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Now, today, we'll discuss about this one, guys. We'll discuss about it this one. Routing. Today, we are just going to talk about a concept called as routing. What is this routing? You already know routing, na? Just a minute. Okay. You guys are already aware of routing. I don't require to tell you routing and what is routing. Actually, I did not teach you this. I did not teach you this about. There are two different types of routing, guys. I did not teach you this particular concept over there, but when you come to routing, in routing, there are two different types of routings that are available. What are the two different types of routings that are available is, one is the conventional routing and the second one is attribute routing. What is the first one? The conventional routing. And the second one is going to be the attribute routing. Two different types of routings that are available to us. What is conventional routing and what is attribute routing? The conventional routing is nothing but the same thing what we have just already learned in our MVC classes. In MVC 5, I explained about the conventional routing. We have one more routing called as attribute routing also. I did not teach you in the MVC5, but MVC5 also has attribute routing. I did not teach you in MVC5, but MVC5 also has attribute routing. So today, let me explain you about attribute routing in detail. Okay. So what is conventional routing? What is conventional routing? This is a pattern matching system. This is a pattern matching system. Remember guys, we just already know that it's a pattern. What is the pattern? First controller name, afterwards action method name, then route parameters. Before the controller name, if at all you want to add anything like your company name or anything, you can add a pattern matching system per URL, which maps incoming request to a particular controller and action method. In conventional routing, we set all the routes in route.routeconfig.cs file in ASP.NET MVC by calling the method map route. Recollect yourself. In ASP.NET MVC, we have called a method called map route in routeconfig.cs file, and we are just defining the route. Whereas in ASP.NET Core MVC, we do that by calling map controller route method in startup class for ASP.NET Core 5.0. Startup class for ASP.NET 5.0 and program class for ASP.NET Core 6.0. But the method what we call is map controller route. Check it out. If you go to the program class, you're calling the method. What is the method? Louder. Map controller route. But when you work with ASP.NET, do you remember the method name? The method name is map route. The method name is map route. Yeah, open your ASP.NET project, the old one. We worked nearly 2 months on that. Just go and check out the routeconfig.cs file. What you will do? You'll find a method called map route. And that map route method will do the work for you. But here we are calling map controller route. Okay. So this is conventional routing. So what I shown you in ASP.NET is also conventional routing only. What I explained to you yesterday is also conventional routing only. So what is new now? What is the other one? Attribute routing. What is attribute routing? It is a simple routing mechanism compared with conventional routing. It is a simple routing mechanism compared with conventional routing. All the concepts are just like the conventional approach only, but here we define routes and attributes in a controller or action method. Understand the point? Eh? Basically, in conventional routing, where we define the route in the routeconfig.cs for ASP.NET and in startup class for ASP.NET Core 5 and a program class for ASP.NET Core 6. But when you come to attribute routing, we define the routes on the top of the action methods and on the top of the controller. We don't define in a separate file. Where you define? On the top of the action method and on the top of the controller we define it. Am I clear? When this was introduced in ASP.NET MVC 5 only. It was introduced in ASP.NET 5 only, guys. Are you clearer or not? This was introduced in ASP.NET 5. In ASP.NET MVC 5 only we have this. We did not discuss it there, but there only we have. And was available in ASP.NET Core MVC also. To use attribute routing in ASP.NET MVC 5, we need to call the method map MVC attribute routes in routeconfig.cs file. Whereas in case of ASP.NET Core MVC, we need to call a method. What is the method name? You know, map controllers. What is the method name? Map controllers in startup class for ASP.NET 5 and program class in ASP.NET 6. Just have a look on this. Route type, conventional. Method to use in MVC 5. What is the method? Map route. You already done that. We already done that. Method is in MVC is map controller route. Map controller route. Next, if I want to use attribute routing, what is the method you need to call in MVC 5? Will you speak out? Map MVC attribute routes. Here, map controllers. The method what we require to call is map controllers. See, we saw this method already in MVC 5 and we saw this method already in MVC Core. What is new is, if you want to use attribute routing in MVC 5, you need to call this method. Which method? Map MVC attribute routes. How to call? Just a second. Let us go to any one existing project, old project, E drive, MVC7. These all projects are okay. MVC test project 1. We just created multiple projects on the day and we tested. Na? So any of this particular project open, guys, any old project, go to route config. Go to route config. Yeah, here I explained about routing. What is the method you call? Map route. Just comment this. Now you need to call route start map not map, I think. Just a minute, guys. My system got hanged up. Map MVC. Got shut down. శ్రీకాంత్ నాని ఏడి ఆగిపోయింది, సిస్టమ్ ఆగిపోయింది. అర్జెంట్ రమ్మనండి, పని చేయట్లేదు. ఏమైందో చూడు, పవర్ రావట్లేదు ఇక్కడ. ఏమైంది? సరే పెట్టి బిగించది. Okay. So the method what we need to call here is map MVC attribute routes. Comment this one and then you just require to call the method map MVC attribute routes here. Is that clear? So here what is the method? Map route. Here what is the method? Sir, what is the pattern? We don't define the pattern here. We define the pattern on the top of the action method or on the top of the on the top of the controller, either on the top of the action method or either on the top of the controller. We define this. Did you people understand my point? That's what we do in case of attribute routing. Okay. Suppose if you want to do attribute routing, if you wanted to do attribute routing in core, if you want to do in core, what to do? Comment this, and simply call the method called as app.map controllers. That's it. App.map controllers. This is the method. And again, I'm telling you, we don't define the route pattern here. We define the route pattern on the top of the action methods. On the top of the action methods, we are going to define the route patterns now. I hope this is clear, all of you. So this is how exactly we define the, this is how we just require to start with the attribute pattern. If at all you want to start with the attribute pattern, this is a process to define the attribute routing in case of your ASP.NET MVC. Okay, so fine. Sorry, MVC core. In the case of your MVC core. Now, the next thing is, so how to define these attributes now? How to define this attributes now? You're saying about attribute routing. How to define this attribute routing? If at all you want to use the attribute routing, guys, we define the routes on the top of the action methods and the controllers. How to do, I'll tell you. Okay, guys, where you write this code, if you are working with MVC5, if you're working with MVC5, you're required to write in the program class, sorry, startup class. Here, program class. That's what I said here. I given notes for both the two things. You just go and use whatever you just want in the appropriate pattern. Okay. See, guys, to test this, how to write it in both the two, I just given. See, to test attribute routing, go to startup.cs file where ASP.NET Core MVC5 of our current project, that is code test, delete the code which has been implemented in use endpoints block earlier, and then call map controllers method over there and should now look as below. It should now look as below. This is how it has to look. This is a old code. This is a new code. In the old code, what you called? Endpoints.map controller route. In the new code, what you're calling? Endpoint.map controller. That's the old and the new code. Okay, now, if you're working with ASP.NET Core MVC5, go to program class, delete the comment. Delete or comment the method call map controller route and call the method map controller. This is what present here. Change to this old code and the new code. I hope you guys are clear. Yeah. Okay. After doing all the above actions, if we try to run the index.cshtml file, we get 404 page not found error because there is no routing pattern defined anywhere. See, earlier we ran this index.html and saw the output now. But if you try to run this now, you get an error. What is the error? There is no routing defined. There is no routing defined. You did not define routing at all. Because you did not define the routing at all, it is going to give you the error in your application. Because you are not defined the routing, it is going to give you the error in this particular case now. Am I clear? Okay. So that's what happens to you here. So you see, page not found. It is showing you a page not found error. Why not? Why it is showing you? Because the routing pattern has not been defined. Okay, done. So what next? Yes, we can, Sai Kumar. We can do that. Okay. So what next? The next thing is we can just go for, we need to define the routes now. We need to define the routes now. Where to define the routes? We need to define the routes on the top of the action methods or either on the top of the controllers. We need to define the routes either on the top of the action methods or either on the top of the controllers. Okay, for example. Okay. Yeah. Now guys, Now let me define the route pattern. How to define the route pattern? Go to your home controller. Go to your home controller. This is your index action method, right? And you want to define a route for this now. You want to define a route for this. How do you define a route? The route is now defined like this. How? There is an attribute called route. And on the top of it, you just require to write how you want to call this. Home slash index. Home slash index. Did you understand? Now run the code. In the URL, if you type home slash index, you will get access to this now. So this is the URL, correct? Now what you should do? Slash home slash index. Got it? But sir, by default in conventional routing, if I write like this only, I will get home index now. Or if I say slash home, I'll get home index now. But now not coming, see? Not coming, see? When I type like this, I'm not getting it. But if I say slash home, I'm not getting it. How am I getting? Compulsory should call home slash index. Then only I'm getting. Can't we map that also? We can do that also. We can do that mapping also. How? Watch this. See. Route just pass only home should launch me. Just pass only home should launch me. Okay? Route, if I don't pass anything also, it should launch me. Did you understand? First one, empty string. Second one, home. Third one, home index. Watch, all the three will work now. Run. What does the URL say? Slash home slash index. All the three are working now. So this is how you need to define the routes now. For every method you can define the routes. One advantage here is we can hide controller names and action method names from users. How is it possible, sir? Actually, you're giving index there now. Index is your action method name. No, I want to hide my name. I want to put it as a demo. It'll launch. It'll launch here. If I say slash home slash demo, it'll launch. Provided if I define it as demo. Watch it. I'm hiding the original method name now. Slash home slash index. Not coming, see? Slash home slash index is not working. Slash home demo. Same way you can hide controller name also. You can hide the controller name also. How sir? I'll tell you. But are you clear? This is how. Next thing is, okay, if you read the notes, guys, I just very clearly given you how to define them and what will be the URL also. HTTP localhost port, HTTP localhost port :/home, HTTP localhost :port /home /index. Am I clear? I given it in detail how you can access up these particular methods. Okay, fine. What next? You can define the routes on the top of, you can define the routes on the top of controller also. On the top of controller also. Watch it. How? Same. Route, and here I am writing home. So route home, we are defining this on the top of the controller. Now run this code. When you run this code, guys, you will face a problem. What is that? Oh. By default, this is not coming, see? I am giving /home. This is working. /index. This is not working. Why, sir? Why not working? Because already, if you just observe me, if you just observe this one, guys, already you defined home here. One more time, home index is there here. Are you clear? So how to get the access? See, look at this carefully. See, by default, if you want to get an access to the default means no HTTP localhost should give me. If that is the case, we need to use simply slash here. We simply require to use slash here. Okay, just watch. That slash will give you access to the default. See, address bar, nothing is there. When I give slash home, I'm not getting it now. When I give slash home, I'm not getting it now. Okay, so how I'm getting it, see? Why, sir? That only I said you. Already home is defined on the top of the controller. Again, you defined home on the top of your action method. Understood my point or not? Now see, slash home. This will launch. Why? Because one home is there. Another home is also present here. Yes or not? Here what should I do? Remove it. Did you understand? This home is there. So, don't pass any value. Should launch me for the default. Means, what is it? Slash home should launch me. Watch. I'll change to, just a minute here. I'll change to IS Express because it is running on Kestrel. Every time Kestrel is stopping, starting, taking off a lot of time. I'll run in IS Express. No issues. See now, this is default, means nothing is given. When nothing is given, it has to launch. It is launching. When I now give slash home, launching, see? Now see, slash home is wrong. Why? I removed it here. Next option, slash home, slash index. Not working. What will work? Slash home. This will work. Why? That only I'm telling you. You have a home here. Again you have home index here. But what should come here? Only index. Array, home is already there now. What you need is only index. So, remove this. Now, home, index. Next, only home, empty string. Next, this is root. This is root. All the three will work, see? See the address bar. No controller name, no action method name should launch you. Why? By default, it will take home controller. By default, it is going to take the home controller. Now I will give slash home. When I give slash home, automatically it will take you home and also it will launch you. Next, slash home slash index. That also should launch. Did you understand the difference? Yes or not? Nothing here. You concatenate the appropriate things. That's all. We just require to concatenate. To see already home is present. So when I give root means this is a default. When I give empty string means this will work for home. If I give index means it will work from home slash index. Are you clear? Okay. And here already said you, we can change the names of the controller and we can change the names of the index methods also. See, I want to rename this as test and I want to rename this as demo. Can I? Yeah, you can. Run and see. Now home and index will not work. What will work? Test and demo. See, this is for default. Slash home will not work. What should I give? Slash test. See now you're hiding the names now. You're hiding the names. See, slash index should not work. What works? Demo. Guys, to give a practice for you, I given everything for you. You need to test it for multiple times how I'm showing you. Okay? In attribute routing, we can hide the original name of the controller and action method so that end users cannot view the name of the controller and action method. And to do that, we need to specify the alias name in the route as following. Clearer or not? Okay, next. Without hard coding controller name or action method names in attribute routes, we can use the concept of token replacement. For example, we can define the route per controller as. Guys, all of you carefully out. You're writing the controller name here now, home. And you're writing the action method name here. What is that? Test. Without, what is that? Index. Without hard coding them, we can use a concept called as token replacement. How? Without hard coding, use square braces and simply say controller. Means controller name should come there. And here, action. Controller and the action. So what will come here? Controller name here, action method name here. Okay, run and see. If it matches with attribute, first attribute only will execute, Dinesh. Slash test. There is no controller with the name called test. Slash home. Do we have a controller with the name called home now? Next. Slash demo. No, we don't have. What you should use? Index. Slash home, slash index. This is called token replacement. We can write like this also. This is another way of writing. Okay. Next. We can also use controller action token on controller class only also. We can also use controller and action token on the controller class. At a time, we can just use both the two things. At a time, we can just use both the two things here. So how we can use at a time both the two things means, just a minute. Okay. We can at a time use both the two things in the token replacement. So directly what you can do, slash action. Whatever is the action method, that action method should come there now. Whatever is the action method, that action method name should be coming over there. What is the action method name? I don't know what is your action method name, but whatever is the action method, that action method name has to come there automatically. Are you clearer or not? Okay. In this particular scenario, the index method is present here now. The index method is present here now. How do you define the routes, Just watch it carefully. By default, controller and action method route is defined here. Correct? So, we don't require to again specify action. We don't require to again specify this action. Just watch carefully. This will work for default route. This will work for default route. This will work for slash home. And what about this one? This will work for slash home, slash index. This will work for default route. This will work for slash home. This will work for slash home, slash index. Watch. See, when I give slash there, the intention is no value, default route. That is the meaning of it. Invalid operation. Slash controller slash action. Correct on me. Slash home slash controller action. Should I give separate square brace? Yes, maybe. This is separate. This is separate, I think. Yeah. Let me see. Let me check. Yeah, you're right. First controllers, next. Separate, I should give. This will work for root. See now, slash home. When I give slash home, also I got the same. Why? I defined the route here. Are you clear? Now, when I write slash index, also I'll get it. You'll have a doubt here. Sir, you did not write slash index anywhere now. How is it working? You did not write slash index anywhere. How is it working? This is taking now. Are you clear? This is taking. What first? Controller name. What next? Action method. Okay. That comes into, means you will understand this going on, using it continuously. That's all. Okay. And you just require to notice it. Already controller action is defined here. So if I don't define anything and specify the controller and action name, automatically this has to run. Means don't pass anything. Will take you the parent, that is the controller and action method. If I'm saying route home, then it won't take this. When I say route slash, then it won't take this. When will it take this? When I pass empty, then automatically this is the one which comes into action. This is the one which comes into action. Yeah. You remember what is happening here? Something wrong. Shit. Hold on, guys. Okay. See, you cannot use this one on multiple action methods. You can use it only on one action method. Root you cannot bind for multiple, na? For only one. And this one also. Did you understand me? For one method only, these two are allowed. Only for one method. For remaining all, you need to go for using the normal process. But one method only, this is going to be allowed. You can't use it for multiple methods. Be careful. Is it clear? Okay. Because you cannot launch all by using slash home. 10 methods are there. Slash home cannot launch all the 10 now. Am I correct? So only one method only. This is generally used on index. Generally used on the index. Okay. So that is the process what we just have for using the conventional, the attribute routing. The attribute routing. One more thing I'll show you. Yeah. Again, you can observe. In this case, you need to define the route like this. Slash for the default, slash home will launch you for this. And this one, slash home, slash index. Next. Hold on a minute, guys. There's a problem in the classroom projector. If I have a routing in conventional flex student, get all students in the route attribute, route student get. Dinesh, why don't you try? Why do you want to spoon feeding for everything? Why don't you try? I said you both can be used. Give it a try. ఆగాడు కదిలిపోయి ఉంటుంది. దాన్ని ఏంటది బ్లోవర్ కొట్టాలి. కదిలిపోయింది చూడు. సరే వదిలే 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 వదిలే. Okay. So next thing is route constraints. What is route constraints? Actually, we use these route constraints for applying some restrictions on the routes. We use these route constraints for applying some restrictions on the route. If at all you want to apply any restrictions on the routes, we can. Means for the route, guys, I'm passing a route value. I'm passing a route value. The route value should be integer only. The route value should be decimal only. Are you getting my point? The route value should be string only. The route value is an integer, but should be ranging between 1 to 10, or the minimum value or a maximum value. Or I want to follow a regular expression pattern for a route. We can do all these things by using the concept of route constraints. We just have a route constraints. We can say, we can, sorry, we use this to restrict the browser request to match a particular route. And we can even use regular expressions to specify a route constraint. We can also use a regular expression to specify the route constraints. How do we use them? Watch. Alpha accepts only alphabets, upper or lowercase. Bool, only Boolean values. Date time, decimal, double, float, int, long. Next, max. You can specify the upper bound now. Next, min. You can specify the minimum bound now. You can specify the range of values. You can use it for string. For strings, we can use length. Okay. Next, max length, min length. Next, regex. All these can be used as a route constraints here. All these things can be used as a route constraints. Okay. So basically, let me show you how can these route constraints be used on our particular routes. So when you're defining the routes, you can define all these constraints on your code. When you're defining the routes, we can define all these constraints on the code. Okay, just a minute. To do this, first I'm doing is, I'm changing it here, guys. I'm changing this to controller. Means controller name doesn't require. What you require is only action method name. Are you clear? And guys, if you write controller name here, now all these routes will change now. Tell me, this will work for default. And this one, /home, right? Wrong. Already you have controller here. Now again, why you define /home there? This will work for default. Now see, /home. Not coming. /home, /home. Not coming. Then how, sir? Hey, that's what already controller name is here. So no need. This should be empty string. This should be the empty string. This will work for slash home. But 2 times we defined it. Maybe we'll throw you an error. Maybe, don't know. Yeah, this works for default. Slash home. 2 are there. Matched multiple endpoints. Why? Both are there. This will work for slash home. And here, index. Already I said you on the top, if I use on the controller, how to write. This will work for default. Next, use slash home, working slash home slash index. Okay. So just I'm changing this all. Now let me write multiple methods for you in this case. I want to write multiple methods for you here. Okay. Watch. I'm defining a new action method. I'm defining a new action method. Public string display 1. Public string display 1. Public string display 1. Okay. Here I'm going to pass a parameter. What is the parameter? Int ID. I'm going to pass int ID and I'll say return value of ID is plus ID. Value of ID is plus ID. Now I want this ID as a route parameter. I want this ID as a route. See, if you are going for conventional routing, in conventional routing we can write home/controller ID. In conventional routing we can write that now. But now we are not using conventional routing. What we are using? Attribute routing. So in attribute routing, if I want to call this method, what should be my route pattern? Route of method name. Okay. Guys, observe. Route of method name. What is the method name? Display 1. And for this you wanted to pass a value. Correct. Route value slash. Recollect. We have just learned about this in the conventional routing also. Curly braces, ID. We can just pass an ID. Are you clear? Curly braces and we can pass an ID. So, how this method should be called? Display 1 and with an ID value. Display 1 with a ID value. Okay, come on, run. Slash home slash display 1 slash 10. Got it? Now I'm doing a small thing. What's it? Here I'm not passing any value. I'm only calling display 1. Error. Why? You need to pass a value. I'm giving slash 10 working. I'm giving slash hello. Is wrong. This is wrong. And because this is wrong, it did not load that value. Without loading the value, what it has taken? The default value is 0. Did you understand or not? Because this is wrong, it was using the default value as 0. I'm using 34.56. Did you understand? I'm using a character. I'm using true boolean. It is just not going to use the appropriate value. Why is it not using? Because we said ID. Okay, we said ID. So ID type we did not tell. So anything you pass it will take. But coming to here, it is integer. Because it is integer, what is it taking? If it is integer only, it is loading the value. Otherwise, it is taking its default value. Otherwise, it is taking its default value. So observe, this is what I defined. And all of you carefully observe. Slash display 1 slash display 1 is valid. Oh, sorry. No, it should be invalid. But why I said valid is nothing. Yeah, I just said question mark here. That is why. If I use question mark, nulls are accepted now. That's why. Just a second. So now that ID is optional. Now that ID is optional. Slash home slash display 1 working, see, slash 10 working, slash hello working, 34.56 working, anything is working. So look here, once you look at it, int ID question mark, I'm making it as optional, it is null. So now all these things will work. Everything works. But I want the ID to be an integer, guys. I want the ID to be an integer. Now, to make that ID as integer, you can apply the route constraint. You can apply the route constraint now. How to apply the route constraint? Watch it. I'm not disturbing that method. Leave that method like that only. Let me write another method. Watch. Let me write another method. What is the name? Display 2 is the name now. And now, yeah, this is also display 2. And now here, I'm going to do my restriction, colon int. So what is that? It is to tell int ID should be integer type. ID should be integer type. Because you said ID should be integer type, all of you observe. Slash home slash display 2, valid or invalid? Slash home slash display 2. I'm not passing any route. Valid or invalid? Error. Why? You very clearly said ID should be integer and it's a mandatory value now. Because we did not use question mark there. It is a mandatory value. Slash 10. Valid? Yeah. Invalid. 34.56. Sorry. Invalid. Hello, invalid. What it accepts? Only integers are accepted. See now, I specified int ID. And look at all the URLs. Display 2 of 10, valid. Display 2 of hello, 34.56, false, yeah. All are errors. Understood? And see, if you want to call the above method without passing a value, make the int as nullable int. How? Int question mark. What is that is? Nothing here. Just what I was trying to tell is, if you put int question mark, what will happen? If you don't pass the value also, it works because you are given an option of null. But it doesn't accept any other value. Compulsory value should be passed. What type of value? Integer value. Okay? Or you don't pass a value, it works. But double, float, it doesn't work. Fine. Next. I wanted to take only doubles. I want to take only doubles. Yeah, I can define a method like this now. Watch it. What it accepts? Only double values. What it accepts is only double values in this case now. Run. Now watch this. Slash home. Slash home. Slash display 3. Will it work if I don't pass any value? Yes or not? Why? Because I put a double question mark there. It has to work. Okay, now tell me. Slash 10. Will this work? Slash 10. Will this work? Why no here? Yes, na. Integer can be converted to double, na. Slash A. Yes or no? No, because that is a double. What you're passing is a character. 34.56. Yes. True. Past. No. Hello. But this also, why you're taking this much time to answer, I don't understand. You know type conversions, na? What can be converted to what you know? You can see. Is a third method, and here I given you. Don't pass a value, valid. Passing 10, valid. Passing 34.56, valid. Passing hello, error. Passing false, error. All these are going to be errors to you here. Understood? Same like this, guys. You can pass. If you pass a character also, it's an error. I did not list it here. Let me add. I'm passing a character value. Error. That is also error. Character, string, boolean, all these are errors. Okay, next. What is this? Min 50. What is the minimum value? 50 is the minimum value. Home display 4. Now tell me, can I call it without passing any value? No. Can I call it by passing 10? Body present and mind absent. Minimum 50 we written there. You're telling 10 is yes, sir. Wrong. What is your route? Put your brain here first. What is your route? Min. What is the value? 50. Then how 10 is accepted then? 49. Wrong. 50. Yes. 50 is accepted. 100. Accepted. 50, 51. All these are accepted. Anything. Minimum value should be 50. You can see. Display 4 without a value. Error. 49. Error. 50. Valid. 51. Valid. Same way we can define a max also. Same way we can define a route for max also. Max also we can define the route now. Okay. So this is a max route. What's it now? Max. Home. Display 5. Without a value, valid? No. Without a value, valid? No. 1. Valid. 99. Valid. 100. Valid. 101. 101. Invalid. Why? Maximum limit is 100. Okay. Same like this, guys. You try the other things. I given the examples to you. Yeah. What next? Display 6. I given range. What is the range? 51 to 100. 51 to 100 means minimum value should be 51. Maximum value should be 100. You can see. 50. Error. 51. Valid. 75. Valid. 100. Valid. 101. Error. Next. Length of 5. The name should be having a length of 5. Are you clear? And you see now. Now it is string, guys. Now it is a string. And display 7. Error. ABCD. Error. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why error? Integer can be converted to string in a brain. Use your common sense here. Numbers can be converted to string in a false. Valid or invalid? False. How many characters are there? Then why you're thinking this much time? You're not applying the brains at all. Length is 5. False is string only na. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is also string. Why? Integer can be converted to string na. It is valid. See, you give ABCD, error. ABCDE, valid. ABCDEF, error. False, valid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, valid. All valid. Next. Length 3, 10. This 3, 10 is the same like range only. Minimum 3, maximum 10. Minimum 3, maximum 10. What is the difference is? Range can be used only on numerics. But length can be used on strings. That is the differential. Range is only on the top. But range can be used only on numerics only, on numeric values. But length is used on strings. Okay, minimum 3, maximum should be 10. You see now? AB, error. Sai, valid. Venkat, valid. Bangarraju, valid. Right now this is 10 characters. David Warner, 12 characters. Error. Sorry, 11 characters. Here it is 10 characters and here it is 11 characters. So minimum 3, maximum 10. Clear? Next. Minimum length. Right, this is min length. Minimum 3 characters. AB, error. Sai, valid. Bangaraju, valid. David Warner, now 11, valid. Why? You set only minimum, you did not set the maximum. Same way, max length. When you go for a max length, see, AB is valid, Sai is valid, Bangarraju valid, and David Warner is invalid again. Why? Because we set a minimum length there. We set a minimum length in this particular, sorry, we set a maximum length in this context. Because the maximum length is set here, it is not accepting that one. Yeah, next. Name. What should be? Alphabets. What it accepts is only alphabets. Now numerics won't be accepted. See, even though we say string here, numerics won't be accepted. See, Raju, valid. 1, 2, 3, 4. Error. False. Sir, Boolean array. First it is string here. False is a collection of characters. Uppercase or lowercase characters. It is just gone. So this is also valid. But 1, 2, 3, 4 is an error. Is that clearer, everyone? Next. Next. Flag. That is bool. It's just saying the flag should be Boolean. What it accepts? True. Hello, invalid. 34.56, invalid. False, valid. Okay, now we can also use rejects. We can also use rejects here. See there, I'm writing string Aadhar and Aadhar should use a rejects. What is it? Slash D. Slash D means numerics. How many? 4. Again, 4. Again, 4. In between what you should have? Hyphens. In between what you should have is a hyphen. I already explained about rejects, regular expressions in your code to you. And this is to represent the starting and this is to represent the ending. In between, why is the double slash? Because you already know slash is an escape character. We learned in C# already. So we should use double slash. Double slash D, value should be 4. 4. So what it accepts? Any value? 4, hyphen 4, hyphen 4 only will be accepted. Okay. Now you guys observe. This one, error. This one, valid. Again, error. All these are errors only. See, here what is the mistake? You passed 5 characters. Here what is the mistake? You're missing a hyphen. Here what is the mistake? You're using is equals to. Are you getting my point? So all these things are going to be an error and will be invalid for you in this case. Okay. So they're all going to be invalid in that particular context now. Yeah, here. I pass any string, it will take. What about a character? If you pass a character also, it has to take. So I'm passing here 34.56. Valid or invalid? 34.56. Valid or invalid here? which context? I forgot. It is a alpha. 34.56. Error. It's not an alphabet again. That is again a error. Fine. So these are all the Aadhaar card validation what you have. And watch this. How many routes are there? 2. One is ID, one is name. If at all you want multiple routes, you can tell like this. ID, name. Are you clear? How many values to pass? 1 or 2? 2 values. See there. Valida, invalida. Come on, fast. Valid or invalid? Invalid. Error. Why? 2 are there, na? 2 are there. 101. Error. 101 Raju. 101 Raju 50.56. Error. Clear? You can also go for using multiple routes also in this case now. So this is all about, what is that? Attribute routing. What I explained is attribute routing. Guys, I given the methods and the URLs to test also. For everything I taken the time and just printed you each and everything. What is valid, what is invalid, everything is in the notes. So some expression start with a dollar. No, expression doesn't start with a dollar. The dollar indicates, the dollar in C# indicates that doesn't start with a dollar. Before the double quotes, you put a dollar. Why you put a dollar before the double quotes? String interpolation. That is string interpolation. That is not regular expression. That is before the double quotes it will be, not inside the double quotes. That is string interpolation. Am I clearer, guys? So this is all how do you do? Routing. This is all how do you do the routing. So this is about conventional attribute routing. What are we using now? We are using attribute routing. We are using attribute routing in this particular case now. Am I clearer? Okay, this is all about the attribute routing and how do we use the attribute routing. So work with the attribute. Actually, if you want, you can try this in MVC5 also. You can try this in MVC5. Patterns are same. But what is the method you should call? The method you should call is, I already shown you map. I forgot the name, guys. Sorry. I listed you here now. Map. I missed up. Map MVC attribute routes. If you want, you can test it in MVC5 also by calling the method. Routing pattern is same, but the method call should be changed off. And here don't pass any value, default, that's all. Default parameters. Just leave it default, it works there. I just missed it in the, everything should be shown here, everything, there also too, here also too, time taking, nah. That's why there I shown you conventional. Here I'm not talking about conventional because we already know. There I did not show you attribute. Here I'm showing you. If you want to test it, go there and also you can test the attribute routing. Is it clearer, everyone? Okay. See, guys. Now we understood about routings and all the appropriate things. Actually, we'll focus on view creations here. Let us go for focusing on the view creations. You know how to create a view. I don't require to tell you. And if at all you want to create a view, you need controls. And when you're talking about the controls, when you guys are talking about the controls, what do we use? What do we use? When we talk about the controls, guys, we just go for using when we just talk about the controls, we just use like HTML controls. Yes or not? And MVC provided you HTML helpers, right? HTML controls, HTML helpers. Both the two things I explained for you in MVC5. Now we can use HTML controls, we can use HTML helpers, but we have a new concept called tag helpers. These tag helpers are very simple than the HTML helpers. We are going to look into a new concept of creating the views now with the help of tag helpers. Tag helpers will be like HTML coding only. Input type is equals to same style. No need to again write text box, nothing like this. How do you write this? Just like HTML. We have something called as tag helpers. Tomorrow I'll teach you how to use the tag helpers and create the views in your code. Okay, let's stop it here. We'll meet tomorrow.